unchanged. And oil prices rebound after sharp losses as supply concerns dominate. This is Business Express on a network service of the NTA, and we are reaching you from a the 2021 edition, while it retained its growth forecast for 2021. The nation's economic projection is lower than that of sub-Saharan African region, which is expected to grow by 4.5% in 2021, 3.8% in 2021, and 4.0%. Global growth is projected to slow from an estimated 6.1% in 2021 to 3.6% in 2022 and 2023. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) says it's downgrading 143 countries, 86% of global GDP, due to the impact of inflation, COVID-19, and Russia's invasion of Ukraine. IMF President said this at the sidelines of the 2022 spring meetings in Washington, D.C. She asked for proactive response to address soaring energy prices, fertilizer, and inflation, to address global shocks and manage uncertainty.
Inflation speeding up. It is driven now by continuous supply chain interruptions, and we need to remember that China has been closing down big cities because of COVID, but it is driven so much because of energy and food prices, as well as some of the metals going up, fertilizer prices going up. That is our toughest moment, to have growth down when we want it to go up and inflation up when we want it to go down. And if you translate this into human terms, what does it mean? People's incomes down, hardships up.
The spring meetings are focused on the actions that countries can take to build a resilient economy for the long term. And from there, let's take a look at prices of commodities in the market. And now, joining me to talk more on issues around the 2022 spring meetings and action that will shape world development is the CEO, Cowrie Asset Management, Johnson Chukwu. Johnson, you're welcome to Business Express.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon.
Good. How's Lagos today, sir?
Lagos is very good. Weather is very clement.
Okay, let's look at issues around COVID-19, inflation, Ukraine crisis, a clock in the wheel of recovery. How bad is this development?
You must have observed that the issue of COVID-19 led to supply chain bottlenecks, which created inflationary pressure across the globe. We've seen inflation rate at levels that we have not seen in the past 40 years in many of the advanced countries. The US inflation rate has gone to 7.9%. UK has gone to 6.1%. The European Union has gone to something like 5.8%. present, so you realize that you're dealing with situation
Okay. Are you with me, Mr. Johnson Chuku? Hello. Okay, it's like we're having a challenge hooking up with Johnson Chuku. We'll get to continue with this conversation in the moment. For now,
Can
the
you
world.
can you hear me now?
Okay, Mr. Johnson.
Can I go on?
Okay, go on.
Okay. So what I was saying is that the COVID-19 pandemic created a lot of economic crisis.
Sure.
It led to a spike in inflation.
Okay, it seems we're having a connection problem there, but as soon as we establish contact, we'll get to continue that discussion at the sidelines of the spring meetings. At this point, Africa Export Import Bank has released the consolidated financial statements of the bank and its wholly owned subsidiaries, altogether referred to as the Afri-Exim Bank Group for the year ended 31st December 2021. The group results demonstrated strong and resilient growth with interest income crossing the $1 billion US mark once again. Afri-Exim Bank Group's total assets grew by 13.4% from $19.3 billion as at 31st December 2020 about $22 billion as at 31st of December 2021, primarily due to the 11.5% growth in net loans and advances and a 12.1% increase in cash and cash equivalents to $18.2 billion and $3.1 billion respectively, with significant growth in guarantees and letters of credit in line with strategy. Total assets and guarantees of the group rose from $21.7 billion US in 2020 to $25 billion as at 31st December 2021. Now, a quick break. We'll get to resume shortly. Well, Mr. Johnson Chuku, if you are with me, we're listening to your submission on the crisis in Ukraine as it affects the global economy.
Yeah, so what I was saying in effect is that the inflationary pressure has actually worsened beyond the COVID crisis. With the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, we've seen further constraining of the supply chain across the globe. We've seen energy prices spike to high levels. We've seen food prices spike. We've seen price of wheat spike, and then we've also seen price of natural gas increase. And these are having inflationary pressure across the globe. Beyond that, we are also beginning to see food shortages and sort of constraint in accessing fertilizer, increase in fertilizer prices, and mentioned that the increase in wheat prices. So we've seen countries, particularly the poor, the poorest countries in the world, struggle to feed their nation, their country. So the COVID-19 issues have now been exacerbated by the Ukraine-Russian war.
Okay, still on the art exacerbation, we're talking about countries finding it difficult to recover from the impact of the pandemic, particularly developing countries. There is this uneven recovery process. Then now, this impact of the war in Ukraine on the global economy. But amid all of this, IMF upgrades Nigeria's economic growth forecast to 3.4%. Were you expecting this?
Well, I was positively surprised at the upgrade. Of course, IMF underpinned their decision to upgrade or their forecast of a higher GDP growth rate in Nigeria on the fact that the non-oil sector of the economy is growing strongly, but beyond that, oil prices have recovered above $100 per barrel. Nigeria, being an oil producing and exporting country, should benefit from a higher oil price of about $106 as of today. But we also must recognize the fact that Nigeria is struggling to meet its crude oil production quota. In the month of March, OPEC stated that Nigeria's crude oil production was about 1.354 million barrels a day. This is far below its OPEC quota. In month of April, the OPEC quota is about 1.735 million barrels a day, compared to the production of about 1.354 million barrels a day. That's a gap of more than close to 300,000 barrels a day. And that clearly make it difficult for the projections that OPEC has for the country to be aligned. Because unless Nigeria is able to increase crude oil production to the level that are expected of by OPEC, then we may not fully take advantage of the higher crude prices. Also given the fact that we're importing all our refined petroleum products. So we're also carrying the burden of oil importing countries in as much as we should enjoy the benefit of oil importing countries.
Okay, that is for the IMF. Let's take a look at the World Bank. What do you make of the growth rate lowered to 3.2% from 4.1% for 2022?
Yes, that's why I said for me, if you look at the fact that we are not able to produce up to our OPEC quota, added to that fact that we're also having worsening insecurity across the country, which could constrain food production. And remember that the agriculture accounts for more than almost a quarter of Nigeria's GDP. So if you constrain food production, then you could have a slowdown in the GDP growth rate, which I tend to align that Nigeria needs to do a few things urgently to reverse a possible slowdown in GDP growth rate. One, we need to contain the level of insecurity in the country, particularly in the northern part of the country and also spreading to the southern part of the country. Two, we must quickly wrap up crude oil production to take advantage of the higher prices so that we can fully appropriate the benefit of higher crude oil prices. If we do both, we will certainly record a GDP growth rate that will more likely mirror what IMF said. But if none of this is done, then it is possible that our GDP growth rate will actually decelerate instead of accelerate in 2022.
Okay, from energy now, can we take a look at the threat to food security, where poor and vulnerable countries are likely to be impacted heavily with the impact of this war? What do you think we should do in country to strengthen food security at this time?
You see, for Nigeria, we don't really face, we're not among those countries that actually facing food insecurity because to a large extent, we eat what we produce. Our consumption is highly domesticated, other than items like rice. Of course, wheat is not a major step on Nigerian household tables. So Nigeria does not face that, but there are a number of countries that are going to face food insecurity. Currently facing food insecurity. One, the issue of availability of fertilizer first place, given that the many of them are dependent on imported food items and food prices are going to go up or already going up, they don't have the resources to continue to import those food items at such higher prices. So some countries are highly vulnerable. But like I said earlier, Nigeria is not one of those that are highly vulnerable as it relates to food insecurity. But that does not mean we shouldn't be concerned that a number of African countries could fall into that category.
Well, that is good news coming from you. Before I let you go, the World Bank President David Malpass says the debt crisis will continue to worsen. How can Nigeria avert this? More so that we need a lot of money for infrastructural investment or investment in infrastructure, critical infrastructure.
Yeah, for me, Nigeria, we need to review our fiscal plan or in terms of funding of infrastructure. I've said this repeatedly that look, we do not have the revenue profile to continue to fund infrastructure and quickly develop infrastructure to a world-class level if we have to rely on budgetary allocations. We need to review the approach to infrastructure funding, and the appropriate thing to do is to bring in private capital, come up with a proper, appropriate legal and commercial framework that will allow private capital to invest in infrastructure. Again, we also need to look at some of our expenditure that are not absolutely necessary at the federal level or at the public sector level. Issues of subsidy, we need to look at again. We're going to spend about 4.5 trillion naira this year on subsidy payments. That could largely reduce the debt that Nigeria will incur if that was not spent on subsidies, and possibly free up resources for critical social investments, such as investment in healthcare, education, and those investments that will have multiplier effect on the economic recovery and growth of the country.
Wow. Thank you so very much for sharing those deep thoughts with us at this particular point in time, Johnson Chukwu. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Moving on, oil prices rebounded on Wednesday as a drop in U.S. oil inventories and concerns over tighter supplies from Russia and Libya drove a recovery from the previous session's sharp losses. Brent crude futures rose 66 cents to $107.91 a barrel. The front-month WTI crude futures contract, which expires on Wednesday, rose 78 cents to $103.34, while second-month contract gained 69 cents to $102.74. And on the equities markets in Nigeria closed on a positive note this Wednesday, recording a second day of gains in the week. The NGX All-Share Index inched up by 1.25% at 48,138.71 basis points as market capitalization increased to 25.952 trillion naira. Investors gained 349.5 million shares valued at 3.699 billion naira in 4,587 deals. Universal Insurance and other insurance companies are the top performers for the day. Let's now join Bosedable for updates on the global stocks.
Hello and welcome to the Global Market Review. Now let's start by telling you that Google is investing in its first ever Africa Product Development Center in Kenya capital, Nairobi, as it positions itself to serve a growing base of internet users on the continent. Meanwhile, the equities market stocks traded mostly in negative territory this Wednesday, with the exception of South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40, which bucked the downward trend and posted a gain of 0.39% across 7,130.63. For Asia, it was mixed trading as China defied expectations by keeping its benchmark lending rates unchanged. Mainland Chinese stocks led losses among the region's major markets. The Shanghai Composite closed 1.35% lower at 3,151.05. The Hang Seng Index also dipped 0.40% across 20,944.67, while the Nikkei topped 0.86% at 27,217.85. European stocks saw some positive gains as investors monitor development in Ukraine and access the IMF's latest global economic forecast. The DAX in Germany gained 0.31%, FTSE 0.24%, and CAC 40 of France also topped 1.05% across 6,603.11. In the United States, stock futures slipped in early trading as investors digested disappointing Netflix earnings and looked ahead to a new batch of companies set to report this Wednesday. Futures on the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell by 0.1%, S&P 500 0.24%, and Nasdaq Composite also dipped 0.43%. That's the Global Markets Review. I am Bosede Abel.
Well, thank you, Bosede. Let's now have a quick look at how the Naira is exchanging for other currencies. Well, Business Express returns tomorrow morning. Keep a date with us and stay safe.
Away. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet, and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go. Anywhere. NTA.
This is Sharp Kitchen Mate Germany. Sharp Kitchen Mate are seen on TV. You can see iron to iron. Very, very simple. As you can see, iron to iron. With this machine, you can crush this bottle. As you can see, for your program number 1, you fix. With this machine, you crush bottle, you crush stone, you crush any hard something. As you can see, this is the bottle. You use this now to crush bottle. You can see the bottle now. You can see the bottle. Wow! You put your tiger knot. As you can see, what is the name? Sharp Kitchen Mate Germany. After finishing, what you do for me? You up, then you have your dry corn, dry beans, dry corn, dry beans. This is unbreakable cup, PC cup, unbreakable. It doesn't break, as you can see. If it is not Sharp Kitchen Mate product, it can never be sharp. Even if, say, you soak the engine for water, it doesn't spoil. What is the name? Sharp Kitchen Mate Original. Sharp Kitchen Mate, You can see coconut, Then you see ginger, as you can see. You see Debino, as you can see. You see tiger nut, as you can see. You see your pineapple, you see watermelon, as you can see. Then you apply your water, as you can see. You apply water, Then you make one of your smoothies. If it is not Sharp Kitchen Mate product, it can never be sharp. After finishing, you open and have your smoothie too. Very, very nice for your kitchen. Sharp Kitchen Mate Original. Sharp Kitchen Mate, Sharp Kitchen Mate are seen on TV. As you can see, you pack your beans for moi moi, beans for akara. You apply small water. Very, very nice for your kitchen. Then you blend your beans for moi moi, beans for akara. Sharp Kitchen Mate Original. After finishing, you have your beans for moi moi, beans for akara. Wow! You can see pepper, you can see your tomato, You blend your tomato, your pepper. You use this now to crush your tomato, your pepper. You blend your tomato, your pepper. Very, very simple. After finishing, you open and have your tomato, pepper, tatasi, for your free gift of yam peeler, as you can see. Then you use this now to slice your cabbage for salad. As you can see, you have your cabbage. As you can see, you peel back of your pineapple. Very, very simple. Back of your pawpaw, peel back of your yam. As you can see, your yam.
You are welcome to Sharp Kitchen Made Germany. Sharp Kitchen Made are seen on TV. Ongoing trade fair that is ending 8th of April at Trade Fair Complex Golf Estate, Enugu. You also reach us at Hallmark Supermarket by Kada Plaza, Sapele Road, Benin City. You also reach us at Nest Cash and Carry, Pabod, Transamadi, Port Harcourt. You also reach us at Fruit Garden, My One, Port Harcourt. You also reach us at Shop A3 Aliyu Modibo Block, behind Zenith Bank, Gariki International Market, Abuja. We can also make delivery. Name the state, will be there for you. We deliver to you with your free gift. Remember, Sharp Kitchen Made Germany. If it is not Sharp Kitchen Made Germany, don't buy it. Full nutrition blender, 60,000, no more 60,000. Remember, Sharp Kitchen Made product. Buy one, go with your wonderful yam peeler multipurpose as your free gift. Thank you. Remember, Sharp Kitchen Made Germany.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide a company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. And to watch NTA International in the USA, Canada, and Mexico, use the following satellite parameters. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
This is the network service of the NTA. They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Corruption Must Go, ICPC's weekly television program. I am your host, Hawa Sani Garba. Youths are strategic partners in the crusade against corruption because they have the vibrancy, physical and mental alertness, passion for life, creativity and exuberance which make them instruments for social change. It is a common saying that the greatest strength and wealth of any nation is in their youths. Nigerian youths are her greatest assets. Their innovativeness and energy are enormous, and if not tapped in the right way, can tip them over the negative side. Under its integrity outreach projects, as a means of positively engaging the youth, the Commission has developed various programs that serve as mechanism to mobilize youths in the fight against corruption. Today on the program, we shall look at some of these engagements and more. But first, let us join Joy Aja as she brings us news on happenings in the Commission.
Hello viewers, thank you for joining us. I am Joy Aja with Anti-Corruption Stories. ICPC and the Federal Capital Territory Department of Land Administration have entered into a partnership to stop fraudulent practices surrounding land acquisition in the federal impersonation and cloning of documents, manipulation of systems for private gain, fake acquisition of land by fake agents, and tampering with land records.
We feel it's good we interact, come and collaborate to see how do we make our activities both end effective and efficient. And also to now come and explain activities, Department of Land Association, what we do as a department. Also relate, explain other stakeholder departments, because we have other stakeholder departments, they have their own different responsibilities. So we feel it's good to explain our functions as well as other stakeholder department functions.
In his response, Chairman of ICPC, Professor Bolaji Owasonye SAN, stated that the visit was significant as the Federal Capital Development Authority, FCDA, played an important and relevant role to development, adding that it was therefore imperative to cleanse the system of corruption and corrupt practices. Professor Owasonye went further to say that it was necessary for the administration to apply strict punishment to individuals who engaged in fraudulent practices, especially of the staff of the department.
This is not peculiar to FCD, even our own ICPC here. We have cracks too. But when we see a crack, we try to see it. So that is the point that I'm making, that even though implementing some of these measures will help to reduce the number of people who are implicated, because once there's transparency, for example, we've got petitions that people have been given allocation or to do a housing project on the land, and those who are allottees genuinely, it will be information for the public. Many staff associations of cooperatives do not fall victims. We have a lot of cases on staff associations and staff cooperatives who are falling victims of scammers who claim to be doing something. They say they have, and they will have documents. They will have documents. And when the people go to do due diligence, it will be validated at your end. But the staff will put money and turn out that somebody inside will say, yes, this is okay. And they have documents to that. But if you publish that in Abuja there are X number of approved allocations for estates, for housing estates, it's public there. The first thing that you used to do online, just your this thing is not listed. Where did you get the land from? But we have people who do. So we need to remove the secrecy, and some of these things are published, are indicated in these recommendations about making open what are the steps for an allocation. You need to do step 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where you pay for. This is where you can verify. If you don't do all that, the staff of FCTA will still become what do you call it now? They will be agents standing in between prospective applicants and their desire, and they turn it into transactions, which is what is happening.
another development, ICPC has arraigned a 40-year-old Jehu Kwasu, the impersonator of the former primate of Anglican Communion, Most Reverend Nicholas Oko, and 3 others for allegedly defrauding some prominent and influential Nigerians of 30,450,000 naira. Other members of the cybercrime syndicates docked by the commission at the Federal Capital Territory High Court 32, sitting in Abuja, were Etubi Idris Aliyu, Abdurrahman Yusuf Muazu, and Usman Abdulaziz. In a charge brought before Honorable Justice C.O. Oba, ICPC in the name of raising funds to bring home from abroad the corpse of the former primate's deceased brother. The court was also informed of how the accused persons used their bank accounts and that of some of their friends to perpetrate the fraud. The accused were alleged to have also used some of their accomplices as fronts to withdraw some of the 30.4 million naira paid into their accounts, as well as transfer some to other accounts specially opened for their illicit transaction. The defendants were also accused of using falsified national identity cards to open numerous fraudulent bank accounts with fake names of individuals to carry out their criminal acts. The commission, in a 17-count charge preferred against the first and second defendants, and 8 and 9 counts against the third and fourth defendants respectively, averred that their action of obtaining by pretense was contrary to Section 1.1 and punishable under Section 1.3 of the Advanced Fee Fraud and Other Fraud-Related Offences Act 2010. All the accused persons pleaded not guilty to all the charges when they were read before them. Counsels to the first defendant, Sadiq Mohammed Lawal, and the second, third, and fourth defendants, Abdulrazak Jibril, respectively prayed the court to grant their clients bail, which was not opposed by ICPC counsel Sulaiman Abdul Karim. The trial judge, therefore,
in their space.